Hello there, and welcome to the channel. Good morning to you all. Today's flight, we are going to be visiting Zurich in the newly released FENIX A321. British Airways actually operate a NEO on this flight, but for all intents and purposes, we'll just take the CEO on this flight. So we are at the lovely Builds London Heathrow Airport. Very, very stunning scenery. Probably needs no introduction whatsoever. And we're going to be doing this flight to Zurich. So like with all our flights, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be starting off cold and dark. We're going to be setting up the cockpit and loading the passengers. We'll be doing a quick load of the GSX this morning so we can get up on our way very quickly. We'll show you the taxi, the takeoff, a little bit up to the cruise, and then we'll stop the video, and then we'll rejoin the video at the top of descent in our descent into Zurich. Right, okay, let's go into the cockpit here, and we are indeed cold and dark, so let's bring some power onto the aircraft. External power we can turn on. We can turn both batteries on, arm the emergency lights, so we'll turn the seat belts and no smoking sights, and turn our navigation lights on to system 1 there. Cruise supply enabled, and we can turn on our 3 IRSs there. Right, okay, while that fires up, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the tablet here, and we're going to import the flight plan. And this is a pre-made one from SimBrief. I am running Pilot's Life this morning. This is a career mode application which will be featured in another video. Right, okay, so we've got 16 minutes for departure, so we're just going to lengthen that just slightly. We're going to go for a 6:30 takeoff there, like that. So we just amended that, and let's go and check the ground services. We've got the GPU and chocks and cones enabled. Mass and balance. So normally we would GSX load this aircraft, but we're going to do for speed wise, we're just going to do an instant load this morning. Right, okay, so we'll press the instant load. You can see the aircraft dip up. So this morning we have got 188 passengers on board. Cargo is just short of 5 tons, and the fuel on board is just short of 6 tons, 5,949. Zero fuel weight is 69.233. Gross weight giving us 75,182 kilograms. Right, okay, that looks really good. So let's go to the FMGC and bring the flight plan into the ATSU. So AOC menu, flight init, and we will data request the flight here. And I will bring up my little widget. We'll bring up the GSX there, and let's bring the SimBrief flight panel. Right, okay, go on to the FMGC. That's all populated in there. We'll go to init page 1, and we will bring the init request into here. So Speedbird 720 is our call sign this morning. We'll enter that into the FMGC. Speedbird 720, cost index of 33. This is a SimBrief given cost index. British Airways have their own cost index, but we'll go with what the SimBrief has given us this morning. Okay, flight level 290. Seems a bit low, that one, but we'll put that cruise level in there. Winds, let's go and download the winds for the flight. We'll wait for them to populate. Airtime is roughly 1 hour 14 minutes to Zurich, so fairly short flight this morning. Okay, let's come off there. IRS in it, and we'll align on reference like so. Right, departure wise, let's go and have a look. We'll have a look at Navigraph in just a moment. We are on the 27 right this morning, and we are taking the Maxit instrument departure, and it's the 1 Foxtrot, so we'll enable that and temporarily insert that into the flight plan. Just make sure everything is looking good. As far as Zurich is concerned, we're looking at runway 14 for arrival. We'll take the ILS runway 14, and that's on the BLM 3 Golf. So there we go, that is there, and we will insert that into the flight plan in there. let's go and check what we have got. Just make sure that it looks pretty good. Pivot, BLM, gear pole. So that will be a gear pole transition. We'll close the disco just for the time being, but we'll review it when we get a little bit closer. Right, that is it as far as that is concerned. Let's go over to the init page 2, and let's go and do our weights. So we've got the weights here, and what we'll do, we'll send to the MCDU, and then what we'll do, we'll go on to the performance side of the flight. So 27 right is our departure. Runway surface is dry. We'll leave the flaps on config, flaps config on optimum. We'll turn the packs on. We'll sync the load sheet, sync the live weather, and calculate. And there are weights. There are V speeds there. Apologies. Flaps 2 for departure. Down trim of a 1.1, flex temp of 57. Right, we'll send them details over to the MCDU, and if we go to our perf page, that shows in there like that. Okay, good. Quite high V speeds here, 161, 169 V2. Right, let's go and set the rest of the cockpit up here. We will set the QFE, which is at 1018 for Heathrow. The IRS is still aligning. We've got 5 minutes to go. So we can set up the autopilot. We'll switch both of these onto VORs, and we'll set our height. So initially our restriction from Heathrow is going to be 6,000 feet on the Maxit departure. So we'll just initially set our height there to 6,000 feet, and that should be it. We've got our performance already in, so dot dot, and the altitude is selected. Right, okay, so we've got a few minutes to wait there. Let's go and do a bit of homework. So I raised the armrest on here, and I also turned this second tablet off. I don't ever refer to the second tablet, so you can save a few frame rates by doing that, just to take the display off. Right, lovely. We've also got FSTL static aircraft enabled this morning, just to get a little bit of ambience. Weather looks fairly good. What we'll do actually, while we're waiting for the RS to align, let us go and have a look at the Navigraph details for Heathrow. So here's the airport here, London Heathrow. As you're probably all aware of, we are departing 27 right this morning, so it'll be a nose right facing north on taxiway there. We will be taxiwaying on Alpha, and then we'll be going to Alpha 3 for departure for 27 right. Okay, the Maxit 1 Foxtrot departure, basically straight out, turn left heading 255, and then execute the departure route there. And there's Maxit at 6,000 feet. As far as the arrival into Zurich is concerned, we're on the BLM 3 Golf, so we'll be coming in through Basel, and then Schiphol, and then we'll be normally get ATC vectors from here, so it looks like we'll probably track down and up there. I have got the approach in on the flight plan. There's the ILS localizer for runway 14, and there is the airport for Zurich. So this runway here, which is a 10,878 feet runway. Right, if we go to the map and show us what our approach is. So we'll be arriving at Schiphol, and then we'll be following this in here. I think this is the RNAV into runway 14, so we'll be following this approach in. Right, okay, that is the Navigraph details there. Hopefully by now the IRS they've still got a couple of minutes to go, and then we can get set on our way. So let's go and so we've got the pilot brief there available should we need it on that. and we've got a few other features here. We've got the Navigraph as well. We can put the charts on that. I have the Navigraph open on the other desktop, but this is quite handy if you're in VR or anything like that. So what we can do, we can just do some simple selections on here. So there's the airport there. We'll star that, and then that brings the chart into the tablet like that. We'll just keep that there for now. And hopefully now we should be ready to go. Right, let's go on to ground services. Okay, IR is in a line, and we are pretty much ready. So what we'll do, we'll fire up the APU. We'll turn all the fuel pumps on, and master switch to on, and press start. So the FENIX is heavily integrated into GSX. To get your pushback moving, all you need to do is press the beacon light on when you've enabled the APU bleed, and everything should be sort of automatic. It's really, really good. We're going to switch the transponder on, and we're just going to put Squawk 2000 on here. We are not on VATSIM this morning. Let's go and check our throttles. They're good. And our speed brakes, they're good as well. Right. So we'll wait for the APU to fire up, and you can keep an eye on it just here. Let's clear some of these prompts, and you can hear the lovely APU starting up. Okay, APU is fully up there, and it's gone back to the door screen. So what we'll do now, we will enable the APU bleed, and that is all you need to do prior to pushback. So to enable the pushback, what we do is we turn the beacon on, and that will disconnect the ground power on its own, and it will activate the GSX menu. You don't need to press anything, just let it do its thing. As if by magic, we should get some GSX characters starting the pushback. So beacon on. Like I say, we're looking for a nose right out of here, so it'll be heading north. Away we go. For some reason, it always, when you turn the APU bleed on, and then you switch it to the GSX pushback, it sort of resets the FMGC. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know what the if that's a bug or what it is. So let's go to we'll clear the load sheets. We'll be shortly ready for pushback. Okay, we should get a prompt very shortly for direction of the pushback. Just slightly raising the nose here. And we need to face north on taxiway Alpha. So, right, here we go. Right, okay, we are clear for engine start. So let's go over to ignition and start the engine number 1. We'll make sure we've got N2 rotation there, and let's go and have a look. Beautiful sunrise this morning. So the progress of the flight is just at the top of the screen there. We've got a overlay there. So the aircraft A321, there's our call sign. ETA, that will be updated once we take off. And obviously, we are Heathrow to Zurich. And there's our current altitude and heading and speed, ground speed. Right, okay, we've got a good start on number 1. Let's start number 2. Okay, Dave's finished the pushback there, so we'll enable the parking brakes, and they will drop the nose there. You can actually disable this, where it actually physically lifts the aircraft up in the GSX settings, should you so wish. The sound set on this these IA engines are just some of the best in Flight Simulator. I never get bored of these engines here. They're beautiful. Right. Doesn't she look lovely? Right. Okay, we can do some of the after start checks here. So these aren't in any particular order. Apologies to the purists, but this is just how I go through this. So PWS to auto. We can leave the ignition on. We can arm the spoilers, and we are flaps 2 for takeoff. So we can select that. It seems that the performance always gives the flaps 2 for takeoff. This is just to aid the A321 in getting off the ground. You really got to watch the pitch so we can avoid a tail strike here. Okay, we are finished with the APU now, so we can turn that off and turn the master switch off. We can turn our taxi lights on as well. We can go to our auto brake, select that to max when the click spot works, and the rest we can do a little bit later. Right, nose wheel steering to on, and when Dave is finished, which I hope he has, there he is, we are ready for taxi. So let's get going, shall we? So it requires just a little bit of thrust to get off, but once it goes, it travels quite well at idle there. We'll be following the taxiway to the end here and turning right on Alpha, and then up to 27 right. Okay, looking all good. Okay, shortly be turning right. So currently at 15 knots. Just slow that up very, very slightly there. So toe brakes check, and we can turn on to Alpha here for the lengthy taxi up to 27 there. Wait, 27 right. Right, good. Right, let's go with the flight controls check. So we have got right ailerons, left ailerons, and if we go, we can check our elevators up and down. Sorted. Okay, so we've got some blue annunciators there. So let's just do the takeoff config check. So we are flaps 2, We do need to set our trim as well, actually. So we are down 1.1 on the trim, which is quite big. So down 1.1, and if we can keep the taxi straight, that'd be nice. And let's do the takeoff config check, and just a cabin check, which should automatically clear itself as we get further up the taxiway here. So most of my settings for the inner build scenery, I have turned interiors off, and some of the stuff that degrades performance. It does look a little bit empty, but I turn all the extras off. Because most of the time I'm on VATSIM anyway, and I just feel it's just unnecessary. And it aids, obviously, performance. Right, just a little way to go now, and we can turn left onto the runway. So as you can see, you just got to watch that speed on taxi. My thrust is actually on idle, but it gains momentum. So just keep an eye on the taxi speed there. Lovely weather today at Heathrow, so we should get some good views of London on the way out, hopefully. We'll be taking it to the end here, and we'll be turning left onto the active 27 right. Okay, we'll shortly stop and turn our lights. We'll just hold here just momentarily. And we will switch our lights. So I'm using the flow program, and I've got a script in here. Oh, I've actually not got it enabled for the A321. So for the A320, there's an automatic light script that does everything for takeoff here, but I forgot to put it in, so we'll do it manually. So okay, so landing lights can come off, runway turn off. We'll turn the strobes on, nose to takeoff and taxi. We'll start the chrono, and we will be on our way now. Right, good. So like I say, we are in the A321. It's slightly longer than the A320, obviously. So we just got to watch the pitch on takeoff. No more than 9.5 degrees, according to the FENIX. And the flaps too does enable you to lift off a little bit easier. Okay, we'll line up with the runway. We'll get ready to go. So, B speeds, D1 is 161. Right, we are ready to rumble. So let's go. Let's turn, bring the engines up there. Just hold slightly on the brakes. And we will go man flex. There we go. Go back in the cockpit. SRS blue. And we've got rudder authority now. 100 knots. Okay, approaching B1. And just pull back just ever so slightly on the stick there. And just so we can avoid the tail strike there. And we're airborne. So, positive climb, gear going up. Okay, let's go flaps 1 plus F. We'll engage the autopilot. And there we go. Nice climb out from Heathrow there. Okay, let's go to climb thrust now. And we can go flaps up. Right, okay, ground spoilers we can disarm. And enjoy this a lovely climb out from Heathrow. Okay, 250 knots and a good climb rate. We'll be stopping at 6,000 feet. Obviously for the height constraint for the departure. 479 nautical miles to go. Absolutely stunning. Right, what we're going to do now, we're approaching 6,000 feet. We're going to simulate that ATC has cleared us to climb up to our cruising altitude now. So we're going to put this up to flight level 290. Okay, and we will do open climb, which is pressed down on there, and that will initiate the open climb up to your cruise. Well, that basically clears out the constraints. We will go standard pressure 1013.2. If you want my wing views, they are available on our Discord, and they're also available on flightsim.to as well for all the variants of the FENIX A320, the 319, and also the 321, which we are in today. Right, we're approaching 10,000 feet now, so we're going to be thinking about turning the landing lights off, so we will do that. Runway turn off, and the taxi lights can come off as well. And looking at the cloud there, looks quite good up here, so we can let the passengers run around with the seatbelt signs. Okay, so we're going towards Midhurst now, and then direct Bognor. So we'll take this flight up to halfway up to the cruise at flight level 290. We'll stop the video and then we'll come back for the top ascent shortly. But we'll just execute the turn here at Midhurst. Okay, and we're turning left over to Midhurst now. Right, so we've increased speed up to 310 knots, and we are in the climb up to 290. Right, we will level out here. She's quite a slow climb of the A321. There's no rocket ascent at all. She gracefully climbs. Okay, that concludes the first part of the video. Join us back for the top of descent, for the beautiful descent into Zurich for runway 14. Okay, and thanks for now. Welcome back to the video. We are nearing top of descent within this flight from London Heathrow down to Zurich. Right, okay, so we can see there 60 nautical miles till top of descent. Let's go and get some weather for Zurich. So we'll go into the weather tab here, and we'll request the weather. So LSZH is the ICAO, and just ask for a simple meter, and we'll send the message in there. And when we go to our received messages, we should shortly receive the weather data for Zurich. Right, okay, let's go to the performance. So we are looking at the descent phase there. Descent of 305 knots. I like to come down a little bit slower than that, actually, so we can just put I put just 265 or something like that, which will make our top of descent a little bit nearer to execution. So let's go and put the weather in quickly. So QNH 1022 in there. We've got 350 at 6 knots for the wind, which we'll put in there. Temperature is 16 degrees. and if we're going to be landing flaps full, if we go and revert to our chart for Zurich, the decision height is 200 feet, which is decision height is 1602. So we'll just put that in there. Oh, 1602 in there. Right, okay, that should be sorted out there. Right, so altitude window, we are looking to be, let's have a look at the BLM3 Golf. So we need to be at GIPOL above 7,000 feet. So we'll put that into the altitude window, 7,000 feet. And we are all pretty much ready for descent here. What I like to do here is just before the top of descent, about 15 miles or so, because we've got the altitude set in there, I'll start a managed descent down to 7,000 feet, and that will descend at 1,000 feet a minute until the profile starts catching up with it, and then the rate of descent will increase. Sometimes that allows for better speed control should it go out of hand a little bit. Okay, so about now, or something like that, we'll push that down to 7,000 feet now. The engines will reduce, and we'll start our slow rate of descent for a little while at 1,000 feet a minute. Okay, auto brakes, they're going to be on a low, and away we go. So as you can see, we've got GIPOL up here, and then we'll basically do a vector over to the to capture the ILS runway 14. So let's have a closer look at the weather. So 350 at 6 knots. We got few at 1,500 feet, broken at 4,500. So a little bit cloudy on the approach into Zurich, but hopefully we'll still get to see some nice scenery on the approach. Of course, with the new world updates for Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, the DEM data is a lot better. So massive improvements to the data around this area now. So approach speed, we're looking at 141 knots. Transition flight level is 70. And we've currently got 82 miles to run. So as you can see now, because we did the descent a little bit earlier, the profile is actually starting to catch up a little bit now. So the rate of descent will increase. Like I said, I just used that for basically a little bit of speed control at the bottom end of the descent there. And we should now see an increase in the descent rate. So the scenery we're going to be landing into today is the Flight Sim Dream Team's Zurich, which is pretty nice. Does the job. And hopefully the cloud cover won't be too bad. Like I say, broken at 4,500 feet, a few at 1,500, so we should have a fairly nice approach. So flight level 180 now. So a further descent after EGLL. Let's look at what we're looking at here. So for the decel point and the interception of the ILS runway 14, we're looking at around 4,600 or so. So because we're not actually doing ATC this morning, we can actually push that down to 4,500 we'll do there. And we can just press the manage mode on the top there, and that will enter the new height restriction. So as you can see there, when we reach EGLL, we'll turn left, and then we'll just slink onto the runway 14 there. So nice and easy approach, nothing too complicated. So what have we found with the landings for the A321 compared to the A320 and the 19? So I found I need to flare a little bit earlier in the A321 as opposed to the other airframes. So where we normally start to flare at about 30 to 40, you're looking at 50, 50 with a slight flare for this one. It's still a work in progress. It's quite tricky to land this one. It's not the easiest Airbus. Whereas in the A319 we actually flare a little bit later. Right, we'll just go down a range on there just so we can get a clearer view. So ZH677 gear pole, turn left. There's the interception for the ILS and the OSNEM intersection there. So at this point we'll turn the landing system on. No harm in doing that at this height. And like I say, we've got auto brake low on, and we are going for full flaps. And just to remind ourselves of the actual approach speed, we're looking at 141 knots for full flaps landing. So at 10,000 feet, we're going to be looking at doing some overhead. We're going to be turning the landing lights, turn-offs and nose lights as well as the seatbelt signs as well. Looking at my speed constraints for gear pole is 250, and the interception of the ILS is at 198. It's up to you what you do at this point in regards to speed control. I like to manage my speed a little bit coming down, because sometimes I do have a little bit difficulty in slowing the aircraft down somewhat. Depending on the winds, but we'll see how we go this one. Right, we're approaching that stage now for the landing lights. So let's turn some lighting on, turn off some landing lights and the nose lights, and we'll ding the passengers and get ready for the approach. Okay, so speed manager's coming now. We're going to be slowing down to 250 knots at 10,000 feet here. As we approach the gear pole. So as you can see, we're sort of increasing speed here a little bit. So at this point, so I remember being on an EasyJet flight from Dalaman up to Gatwick, and I seem to remember the pilot actually had the speed brakes deployed all the way down to slow the speed down. So you can do at this point just start to lower the speed, because it does get a little bit difficult to manage if you're coming in a little bit too fast. So we're going to get some speed brakes out here just to slow the speed down somewhat. Okay, you can also switch it to VS mode now, and you can actually bring the rate of descent, because we're a little bit off profile now. So we'll get a little bit of flaps just to help us out here a little bit. So we're right on the edge of the flap envelope there, flaps 1. Okay, we've got the ILS indication here. And we're just doing the approach transition now. So we'll switch over to the QFE, which is 1022 millibars. And let's get that speed down. So, like I said, she's a little bit difficult to manage here. I always rather like to come in a little bit slower than too fast. So we can see the ILS is the ILS height now is coming to meet us. So we're looking at 4,500 feet at CI 14 here. So that should work out quite well. So we'll just wait momentarily for that to reach our level there. So 4,500 feet. We can now turn on the approach mode, and that should lock us onto the ILS there. 200 knots. We can further give it another hand by putting flaps 2 out. Get some more views as we get in onto the approach. Right, localizer is established. Let's do 160 knots here, and let's just remind ourselves of the approach speed. So it's 141 for full flaps. We've now got the glide slope as well. And localizer established 160 knots, 10 miles. Right, looking good. So a bit of cloud, but not too bad. We should poke just underneath that very, very shortly. So we'll put down the gear a little bit early, and here we go, gear down. Little bit of murk. So what we can do at this stage here, we can start slowing that down to the approach speed. We've got 2 lots of flaps to go. So let's slow it down at 150 and flaps 3. We've got visual with the runway now. So we can push that down to 141 and just let that settle. And we'll go with the last degree of flaps. Okay, flaps are all set. Okay, and we'll do arm the speed brake. We've got auto brake auto brake low, full flaps, landing no blue. We'll take it off the autopilot, so we've got a good visual here. We'll take it off the autopilot about 1,000 feet. And we'll go with a visual landing. Okay, steady on the approach. We've got winds, right to left. Sorry, left to right at 5 knots. Nothing too serious there. Right, 1,000 feet roughly. Let's take the autopilot off.
1,000.
Just slight movements. We've actually now got a little bit of a tailwind, left to right.
500s. Above. 200. Minimum.
Landing. Okay, we're looking to start to flare a bit early.
20. Retard.
Take thrust off. A little bit of stuttering on landing there, and there we go. And reverse thrust engaged. Okay, 60 knots and manual brake. Right, good. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's turn the nose wheel steering on and we'll vacate at this taxiway here. Okay, let's clean the aircraft up. So spoilers up and flaps up. And we'll go and taxi to the gate. Right, so let's go to the overhead here. We can turn our landing lights off. Landing lights off. Turn the APU. Strobe lights can come off as well. And onto taxi and start. We'll go and taxi. So, welcome to Zurich. A little bit murky, not as not as nice as I expected, but with live weather, you can't choose it. So we're going to cross runway 2810 to the gate. We'll go and have a look at the landing rate. I've got Volanta running, so we'll actually go and have a look at the landing rate. But what we're particularly looking at is the G-force on landing. So I'm not too sure where British Airways park it, but as you guys who watch my Twitch channel, I'm not very particular about where we park too much. So we'll just take this one up here. Alpha 11 looks really good. Right, we'll do the shutdown and stuff like that, and then we'll go and have a look at the landing rate, and that will conclude flight to Zurich. So we'll just line up there. Seems a good place as any. A little bit heavy on the brake there. Let's just go forward just a touch here. And that'll do us, I think. Okay, parking brakes going on. Let's go APU bleed. We can now turn the taxi lights off, and we can commence shutdown here. Right, okay. Engine 1 and 2 can come off. PWS can come off as well. Transponder onto standby. And then we can turn the seatbelt signs off, and and then what we'll do, we will initiate the GSX. Actually, we don't have to do it from the float or anything like that. We can just turn the beacon off, and GSX will integrate with that and commence the deboarding of the aircraft. There we go, and the jetway's coming out perfectly, and we can start deboarding the passengers and the cargo. Right. Okay, welcome to Zurich. As you can see, the scenery's not too bad. It was a bit stuttery on approach there, but I'll try and investigate that and see what I can come up with. So let's go and have a look at Volanta then, and just see what the all-important landing rate was. So we'll review the flight here. So departure from London Heathrow on the maximum 1 Foxtrot. Tracking over just right, Brighton to our left, over the English Channel, over France, and then into Switzerland here. Right, fairly easy approach into runway 14. No real problems. Managed the speed fairly well. Not totally using the management systems to do it, so a bit of interaction from the pilot as well. It's just how I do it. And the landing rate was well, actually that looked a lot better than 351, so that's quite disappointing actually, isn't it? But the G was 1.06, so I mean it didn't look too bad. Landing rates, they're one of these things, right? Depends what mood it's in to a certain extent, but the A321 is a little bit tricky to land. You won't get much butters with this aircraft, and like I say, it's getting used to it. It's only been released 1 week, so we're fine tuning it and stuff like that. So anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the flight there from Heathrow to Zurich. If you like the video, please press like and subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also join our Discord as well on Twitch. Search Steve_LS100. We stream most days at 0600 UK time, where you can join in the flights and join in the chat and everything like that. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Until the next one, have a safe journey wherever you fly, and a very good morning. Catch you later. Bye bye.